Hi everyone. Now we will study about the meaning and definition of perception. Yes. So we will try to understand about the meaning and definition of perception. So perception means what? Perception is that thing like each person have a perceive a different thing. Like for example, if I say apple is there, so I will perceive apple as a red ball. So another person perceive apple as a real apple. So different person perceive in a different way. In day-to-day life, we can easily sense different objects, sounds, textures, taste, odors, etc., to which we have paid attention and can name them. In your daily life, there are so many objects, textures, sounds are there, and you are naming them. Thus, in understanding the world around us, sensation occur first, followed by attention, finally interpretation of the stimulus of the brain by the brain. This process of interpretation of stimulus is known as perception. Like first you are actually understanding by your sensation like eyes or ear or sense, and that interpretation is happening between your senses and brain, and this process is called perception. Interpretation is any stimulus requires past experience. It actually requires a past experience. The perception can be defined the process of assigning meaning to the information received about the environment based on the past experience. Okay, so perception means, as I said before, whenever you are seeing an apple, so you are, for the past information, you are interpreting with that thing, with the new one. Like whenever you are seeing any new object, you are thinking that like you had seen this object or not, and if it is not, your perception is very different at that time. And if it is in your past experience, you will look in that way what you have looked on past. So phenomena associated with perception, there are some phenomena which are associated with perception, like top down and bottom processing. Sometimes in this activity 5, you can see the letters. You need to see, it is a top down. फ्रॉम ऊपर से नीचे की तरफ देखेंगे तो आपको ये कुछ बी जो है वो 13 की तरफ दिखेगा, और बॉटम टू टॉप, नीचे से ऊपर देखेंगे तो फिर ये 13, राइट? सो बॉटम अप. ओके, so these are the thing, there is a perception. It actually make in that way to look you in a different. A law of perceptual organization. On our brain has tendency to reorganize our sensation as a meaningful whole. This was explained for the first time by German psychologist Max Richtner in 1923 in the forms of laws of perceptual organization. Some of the law of perceptual organization are as follows. There are certain perceptual organization out there is actually made by German psychologist 1923. So first perceptual organization is law of proximity. According to this law, the perceptual organization, the stimuli that are near to each other are perceived together. Law of proximity says that which are near to the another object which can be perceived together. Like if I am sitting near with the another person, so like two pairs group, so you will perceive I am together. Yes, stimulus that are far away from each other. Look at the following, in this figure you can see the pair of four dots. Like it is basically a different, but for four dots you are perceiving, but it is similar, one parallel line and this line. Law of similarity. According to this law of perceptual organization, the stimuli that are similar to each other are perceived together. Then like over here the same dots, like you are not perceiving the four thing, you are see the line you are seeing. Okay, four alternate lines you are seeing. Law of continuity. According to this law, There is a tendency of perceive a stimulus continuation according to its established direction. According to this law. Like in this figure you can see a line cutting this perceive. Like your continuity you are seeing. The law of closure is there. Then after thinking. Okay. So thinking means what? Right now I am teaching you something. Okay. So you are learning from me, and you are thinking also. Somewhere you have some kind of thinking and all, right? Okay. Many person have a short, thinking. They are thinking. They many thoughts will come in your mind, and you will think. Okay. Read the imaginary situation given below. Imagine that your Imagine that your friend asks you to help him to solve a mathematical problem. You are not able to answer him immediately. After waiting for a few moments, he urges you to answer quickly. You might respond, "Wait, I am thinking on it." What exactly you are doing when you are thinking? While you are thinking, you might be recognizing that there is some mathematical problem to try various formulae that taught you. Like thinking means you are thinking the past information to solve the present problem. The definition and core element of thinking. The thinking is a mental activity that uses various cognitive elements and processes that involves manipulation of information, problem solving, reasoning as well as decision making. If you analyze all the mental activities involved in thinking, you will find that thinking seems to be private and internal to ourselves. While thinking, while thinking, we create a world within us, and we run through various actions symbolically rather than reality. Thinking, we are assuming, we are predicting every time. That is also one kind of thinking. Mental representation is a mental imaginary of thing that is not currently physically available to the senses. Is a coded of internal representation. Internal representation are acquired through direct experience through sense organ, through indirect experience as such as narration pinchul. Internal representation means first is right now you are sitting and you are listening. That is your internal representation. Directly, indirectly means if I say to you just right now you are sitting at the Mount Everest. That is your internal representation. Concept. Concept is an internal representation which the brain uses to denote a certain classes of thing in the world. The concept involve exact extraction of some idea on the basis of similarity difference among many sensation. Concept we are creating a concept every time. Concept form the basis of all cognitive process. Whatever you are seeing in front of you right now, your YouTube, you are listening my voice, you are creating your own concept that is called self concept. Yes, but the definition is given different and you are creating your concept. Sigma. Sigma is an internal representation that organize knowledge about the related concept relationship among them. Schemata influence most of cognitive process. For example, when a child visits you, the concept of animals, home, cage, and display, public, etc. gets activated simultaneously in the connection between established between them. Schema means you are having a connection between another animals. Where everyone animals have four legs, where two legs are different, four legs are different. And in language is a system of symbol, mental representation, concept, schemata, all are better represented by language. For example, the word cat stands for actual cat. The word cat is a symbol for a cat. Thinking by using language is a distinctive feature of a human being thinking process. The types of thinking. So, the types of thinking, there are different types of thinking are there. We can say the definition of problem, generating alternative solution, selection. First of all, you are defining a problem, then solution, then selecting a solution. Right, this problem solving. So in creative thinking, preparation, you are doing incubation, you are doing then verification, illustration and verification. Learning is a different parts. Sometimes you are learning within by yourself, and you are learning by the other people. Yes, meaning and definition of learning. You might thinking of learning in terms of what you need to do before an exam, an upcoming exam, or acquiring a new skill like dancing, sky cycling, but is only a small segment of the vast learning process which encompasses all areas of life. Sometimes it's short-term learning, long-term learning. This is life learning also. You are learning throughout the life, and you are learning for a particular activity, right? So the process of learning, it's really difficult. Like learning by classical conditioning. Learning by classical conditioning was explained by the first time Russian psychologist Ivan Pavlov. Through his experimental dog, he inserted a tube surgical a dog's saliva gland so that he could measure the amount of salivation. He then presented the sound of the bell and food one after the several times. After several trials, the dog starting salivation to the sound. In classical conditioning, me, I am conditioning you. I am conditioning you with a certain object. Sometimes the ambulance noise is coming, the sound is coming. You are conditioning it, like whenever you are listening to that sound, you are immediately saying that is a ambulance car. But sometimes it could be a fabricator, sometimes it could be a police officer. No, you are conditioning. Learning by operant condition. Learning by an operant condition was an explained American psychologist Frederick Skinner. B.F. Skinner, like Bruce Frederick Skinner, he performed an experiment in which a rat put a special box that contained a lever. If a rat presses that lever, he was given a food. Gradually, the rat learned to press the lever to get food. Here, the rat is learning to connect the behavior of pressing the lever using the foot. Like you are operated in a that way. Okay, learning by cognitive process. Okay, then learning by assimilation, accommodation, learning by observation. I think so. I completed this chapter, so you have to learn again and again in your life.